Perfect. I thought it wasn't going to let me in for a minute. Hello and welcome back. I hope that you are enjoying the sessions. I certainly am. I think we're very fortunate to have had some really, really strong speakers today. And yeah, I feel quite humbled that the people have come and spent their time with us all to give back and share their knowledge and experience. So I myself am going to run the next session. So I've already got my screen share up, which is quite a miracle for me because it's not my strength. And we're going to be talking about your career strategy and why it's important to have a strategy. Because as I've already alluded to, I've been in talent management and recruitment for well over 30 years. And I've seen it go through lots and lots of iterations. Can I just check, Benno, that we're recording? I think we are recording. But just so you know that we are recording, so if you don't want to be on any of the slides, please keep your cameras off. So as a recruiter, sort of back in the early days, I was a recruiter when we were still, opening envelopes with CVs in, writing back to people. People still typed CVs, all of that. So it was a really, really different time to what it is now. And it was, I was already recruiting executive search when the whole piece came in about using online. And I'm one of those very sad people that didn't think it would take off, which of course I'd probably be a lot richer if I'd have believed that at the time. But the actual issue around the current scenario where people are saying recruiters don't get back to me, I'm just not getting the traction, all of those things, a lot of that is because of the success of online, which means that a lot of people apply for things that they haven't sensibly thought through. And so my book's called Would You Put a Stamp on It? Because before you ever press the button to send your CV away for it to be reviewed or looked at by a recruiter, you should think, am I sure enough about this application? Do I know enough about this job and the organisation that I would put a, whatever it is, £1, 10p stamp on it, put it in a beautiful vellum envelope and walk to a red postbox and put it in? Because in all honesty, if you wouldn't do that, then you probably shouldn't be applying for that role. And that should be, I find it a really good blocker of me doing lots of things. It's also easy to do something like a review on Trustpilot because you're very cross in the moment, but actually when you sit back and reflect on it, well, that's a waste of a stamp. So that's my little moral, and that's what goes behind everything that I sort of share as a recruiter. I've been in the talent side of recruitment since about 2006 when I first became a coach, and then during the pandemic, because I was sitting at home and I had retired actually, but I just got talking to a lot of people who were struggling with their careers and what to do next and all the challenges pandemic brought us. And so I decided I'd go and do another course because why not? And absolutely loved it. Did a coaching qualification. So even at this stage of my career, and it wasn't an easy decision, it was an investment in both time and money and putting yourself out there again to be measured and evaluated. It's uncomfortable. And I really feel that when I'm talking with my own clients as a career coach. I've continued with executive coaching. I work with a number of recruitment businesses and other organisations where they are customer focused, like front end customer focused, not hidden in boxes behind the scenes, where a customer really counts. But I also absolutely love my career coaching side of my business. So I'm here today to talk about strategy and why we have a strategy. Is it going to move? It's not going to move. There we are, there's the slide. So why have a strategy? So having a career strategy means that you apply for things and you think about things for the right reasons. We're going to have a look in the clarity of what you do. We're going to think about work-life balance. What's your plan? How you connect? Your reality check about where you are and where you want to be, and to follow on from some of the things that Elizabeth and Zoe have talked about, your personal brand and what it means. For me, when you start to do a job search, you start first of all with creating a spectrum of possibilities for yourself. Because if you just apply for the job that you've got now, is that really what you want to do? You spend a third of your life at work. You are potentially here today because you want to change, you're bored, you're not getting the promotion you want, you've got the Sunday scaries that you don't go to work on a Monday, you've got a boss that's driving you mad, you're working for somebody narcissistic, you're not spending enough time at home with the children, you're commuting and you want a hybrid role. So many reasons. And so when you think about those, you need to take a step back, because if you start to apply for the things that you already do, then actually you're probably not going to change anything. And your career is a zigzag of possibilities. There's a lovely book called the Squiggly Career Path, written by two great coaches. And it really is a good book to read. But you do need the strategy. You do need the would I put a stamp on it strategy, and to challenge yourself through the process. Because job searching is tiring. It isn't something that just happens. There's a lot of work to go into a good job search. But there is also a lot of statistics that say that people are much happier after they make a move. The most recent Indeed one I found is that 88% of people reported being happier after they'd made the move and really, gone to a new role and being happy. So take the leap into it. But, at any one time, at least a third of us are thinking about doing something different. There's a lot of people in your situation, so there's a lot of help and advice out there. But don't waste time chasing the wrong roles or the wrong opportunity. So start with thinking, what's my why? Why am I doing this? And what do I need to change? What needs to be different? What's my clarity on what I want to do and why I want to do it? And that's why I think one of the things, many things in the kit bag that I work with clients, is the ideas bank. I love an ideas bank. You can go out there and create a spectrum of possibilities for yourself that have no logic or reason in them whatsoever. The things I see come up in an ideas bank is one of my favourite things, because it means you can delve into your past dreams, you can look down the paper and think that's really, down the paper, that makes me old, you can look at job adverts and think that sounds really interesting. You can talk to somebody at an event or when you're out at night and think, wow, what a job to have. So really, really think about, what would you love to do? And, do start with your past dreams, all those things to jumpstart your ideas bank. And what it is with Ideas Bank is that you will eventually start to see that all the things that you've got in there have got some interconnectivity. Lot of the things might relate to creativity. They may relate to organisation. They may relate to part-time working. Perhaps you're ready to start your own new business. You've got an idea in your head that you've been thinking about for a long time. But by putting everything you have into the ideas bank with no restrictions, just have a lot of fun with it, you will start to see where's the synergy, and that will start to challenge you about whether applying for a similar job elsewhere or doing the thing you've always done is actually going to make any difference to how you're feeling. So that's one of my top tips, is to start with that as part of your process. You sort of create this spectrum of possibilities, and one of the things I did with the client, and I thought it was quite a fun way to do it, is that we realised that everything that went into the ideas bank came back to animals. So what do you do with animals? So open your mind up. If you've identified a love of animals, per se, and a lot of the British public have got that. What could you do? You could do something really simple. Like you could make yourself feel more satisfied by donating to an animal charity or volunteering for an animal charity. You might then still stay doing the same job, but you're getting some satisfaction in your life from doing the things that you do with animals. I've got a client that's worked really well for. They've set up their own charity because they actually realised they do actually like their job and it was a good job, but actually they got something missing in their self-satisfaction. And so they've gone to do that and they've set up a brilliant charity which is doing great work. The other things you could do, if you were into animals, you could take a course in animal behaviour. You could make animal gifts. Many people do. I've probably got a house full of them. And you could sell them on Etsy. I think about that latest stat, about 57% of the British population have got a side hustle of some sort. Whether it is an Etsy business, selling, tropic makeup, some people still do the Marvelous Amway. There's loads of things that people can do. People trade. I've got a friend who set up a trading site. It's got loads of people who do it as an extra business. So there's loads of things that you could do that don't have to be your full-time job. So you could have a side hustle. You could run a dog walking business. You could go and work for the RSPCA. So you go and explore what would it mean to work for the RSPCA. Perhaps you're a marketeer. Maybe an animal charity or an animal related business is where you should look for your next marketing job. How about training as an animal psychologist? Work as a vet at a zoo, about a 7-year training. But if that goes into your wish for the future, you then know how to plan things out. Or, the really crazy one. I just thought this was fun. You could become a researcher with orangutans living abroad. But all of these take into account both your work and your life as a whole. So they're all things that you can consider. So I just wanted to see how opening up the spectrum of possibilities, if you get an idea, how you can delve in and make it really work. And the whole thing about today is that we're all giving you things to take away and think about. And that's why I think having the recording, you can hopefully come back in and start to, really work on the ideas you've been given to help you get ready for the next move. The other thing is pull together your house of knowledge. So what are the things that you know the most about? What is it? Are you a marketeer? Are you a psychologist? Are you a researcher? What is it that you have got the most knowledge about? What are the things you're most interested in? We've talked about animals, it might be gardening, it might be sport. What are the things that, when you're in a room, you are the expert in the room on it. What are those things? Get them down, acknowledge them to yourself. I think a lot of this is about the acknowledgement of the skills and your interests and all of that. Get them down there. What inspires you? What, when you see a podcast come out or a webinar come out or an article in a magazine, what is it that really say, oh, got to read that, got to listen to that, got to watch that? What are the things that inspire you that you want to follow through with? What do you want to know? Where are you on a topic, or what do you know nothing about that you want to know about? Whether it's fly fishing or psychology, what is it? Recognize it and get it down on there. And are the things you're thinking about, are they work potential or are they just hobbies? It doesn't really matter, but acknowledging it is what matters, because that takes you on your self journey of discovery, and also obviously thinking about your passions. A lot of people say that, the joy of never having to work a day in your life, because you actually, you're doing your hobby every day, is a great place to be. My daughter's a cake maker. Her cake making, she's a wedding cake maker and very, very successful and very talented. But that was her hobby until she made it her business. And one day she just woke up and said, I don't have a hobby anymore and I want a creative hobby. So, in comes the cricket machine and everything else. And she started to work on things where she had to make other things that weren't cakes, because she adores making cakes, but she needed something that was still a passion, but wasn't her job. And that was right for her. So you need to think about, do you really want to have your passion as your job, or do you want to keep that as your hobby, or flip it around like my daughter has? So lots to think about. So you can't just press on Indeed something that looks interesting. It's the worst possible thing you can do for yourself and actually the recruiter. So identify what motivates you. Why do you work? Most people will say, well, it's money. But what else is it apart from money? So I've just put a few things on here. Do you love recognition? Do you like, I love it when a client comes to the end of a career coaching assignment, they've got the job they want or the outcome they want, whatever that was be, because we don't always think about the job, it's the outcome that we talk about. When they come and they've got that and they've had a really great journey, it's the biggest lift in the world. I just absolutely love my job for that, of seeing people, get the right job. And the same when I was a recruiter, when if you've bought my book, you'll see I see myself as the pivot in the seesaw. So my work is helping to keep the seesaw really flat so that the candidate and the client are both getting equal value from whatever decisions are being taken. And I'm that sort of ball bearing in the middle, keeping it flat, making sure nobody falls off. Because if they do, I haven't actually done a very good job. So I want to keep my seesaw really flat at all times. And that is my recognition, that sometimes I give it to myself and sometimes other people give it to me, and it's a fabulous place to be. Earnings potential, we know money is a big driver for most people, and it's a practical driver, let's face it. You can't have all the fun in life if you haven't actually got the finances to make it work. For some people, it's helping others. I feel fortunate that I'm in a job that helps people as well as, does practical things like helps businesses be successful because they've got the right people doing the right things. But is that something that motivates you? Some people are motivated by status. They want that CEO title, they want to head up that function, whatever it's going to be. So, that could be one of yours, and that is fine. You don't have to be ever worried about that. The status of being recognized for being an expert in your field can also be something. Some people are really motivated by feedback. I like feedback, but it's not a motivator for me because I sort of tend to do my own feedback to myself. I can work that through on my own, and I can be uncomfortable with myself. But some people need it from others. Others love responsibility. People like a challenge, or personal development, personal growth. A lot of people that have signed up for this, they're not actually looking for new jobs. They're looking for promotion at work, maybe a sideways step into a new function to do something different and take their knowledge of the organisation. That personal development button is a really big driver, and I wish more organisations understood that. But yeah, that's something. Some of us just love variety. And it's not shiny object syndrome, but it is nice to have different things to do with different parts of your working life that you can dip in and out of. And some people, want to have fun at work. They want to laugh. They want to enjoy work. And that's been hard for some people with the move away to work from home because you don't get those moments. So if that is important to you, is a job that is completely on your own in the back bedroom, really where you want to be. And some people, are there because of the team, and the joy they get from working with a team. So loads of reasons there. Work out what's your motivator. What do you actually work for? Then think about your current reality. I mentioned this earlier on when I was talking to Joe. So think about, where am I now? What's my situation? Write it down. What does it actually look like? And face up to where it is. How am I going to get to where I want to be with the tools I've got or the circumstances I've got, or what do I need to add in to make that happen? Just start to have those solid conversations with yourself. What are your options for change? How can you edit what you do at the moment? If you're working from home all the time and you're really missing company, is one of your edits looking for a hybrid role or going back to an office? A lot of people are going back to offices. Is that what you want? Might not be for everybody, but maybe that's going to work for you. It's so individual, so individual. And what's your timeline? When do you want to be there? Are you here today because you're thinking about this for the future, or is it much more, sooner than that? You're on that road now, you want to go. Or what's your reality is that you need new learning. You're stagnating, you're bored, your mind's not being stretched, and you want to get ahead and be have the benefit of that sort of promotion or just extra learning, whatever it's going to be. Is there a course you want to go on? Is there a way you want to develop your skills? What is that? And how does your next move give you that opportunity? So your vision, think about today, think about the future date, and think about what you really, really want, in the word of the Spice Girls. Be specific, please, please be specific. And think about your current reality and where you want to be, and do a comparison. What are the different things that are going to come up with you in that? And visualize what it's going to feel like. It's really powerful to do that. Just some self-visualization. And these are the ways that you can do it. So once you've got a good idea, and remember, it's not set in stone, it's still malleable. You can change that vision and move it around as you get to know more about the things that you thought you might be interested in. You're looking at your ideas bank and you want to go and be a pilot in the RAF, but actually you need 3 A levels, a degree in this, etc. Unless you're prepared to go and get the A levels and the degree, if you don't already have it, then that's not what you're going to be able to do. But what was it about being a pilot in the RAF that made that interesting to you? And what's the synergy with that for other roles? Is it about that being in control? Is it about travel and seeing the world? What is it? What was it that made it interesting? So getting everything into action. LinkedIn. We've talked about LinkedIn on every single session today. And LinkedIn is part of your personal brand. You need to pack a punch on your CV and on your LinkedIn profile. The rest of the team have already talked about it, but LinkedIn is your self-marketing tool. That's where you can really make an impact, and where you can get known to a lot of people that are going to be important for you on this journey. So LinkedIn, definitely huge part of personal brand, as is your CV. So is your CV on target? Play the empty chair game with yourself. If somebody's sitting opposite you and you're the recruiter sitting in the other chair, so what can you see if you just become disassociate yourself to the personal view of your CV and really think about it? What does it look like? Are you really happy with it? If you were recruiting for a role like you want, would you look at you? You need to really make sure that your CV is on target for that. And I'm actually running a webinar in the next couple of weeks all about CVs. So we'll pop the details on for that to you on an email in the next few days, so that you can come and join into that if that's something that you still want to develop. It's work that never stops. You've got to keep thinking about it all the way through. So go and find the recruiters. Who are the recruiters in the market that you want to get into? Who are they? I mean, I don't know. I haven't actually tried asking ChatGPT who are all the recruiters in marketing in pet food, but it might know. But those are the sort of Google searches that you can do. Decide where you want to be, narrow it down. It doesn't mean that you don't look at other things along the way, but if you've narrowed it down, it makes it much more focused and much more successful. Find those recruiters, start commenting on their posts, start seeing what they're doing, start to see what jobs they're posting. And as Liz said, get a Google alert out there. Get a Google alert for anything you are interested in. Because that means that as soon as it comes up, it will be right there in your inbox for you to discard or discover or discard, or go forward with, whichever you want to do. But Google Alerts are so easy to set up, and it's a quick 2-minute thing. They won't hound up your inbox with lots of information. And then as soon as a job comes up in an organisation you're interested in, talking about Joe and her Red Bull, then it will come straight into your inbox, and then you can go and explore it. And I say, go for it or not. Connect the right places. It's get into the groups on LinkedIn, find the groups that are relevant to your skill set, and start to join those. See who's in there, then connect with the people that are in there. Obviously, we've already talked a lot this morning about commenting on people's posts that are relevant to you, but also where else? What seminars are out there? Eventbrite is fantastic for highlighting, summits and conferences, etc. Go in person. Be brave. Let's get back out there and talk to people over a cup of coffee or a glass of wine, and get out there to events. There's so much on Eventbrite that's so relevant. So again, put it out there as an alert on Eventbrite for the things that you might be interested in. Joe says cover letters aren't relevant. I know some clients where they are relevant. I think it depends a bit on your sector. But if you've put a cover letter on there, they don't have to read it. But it is worth definitely including for a lot of applications on there. So having done all that work, these are the things that people say. Is this you? I'm feeling unfilled, but I'm actually scared. I don't enjoy what I do anymore. Did I ever? I speak to so many people that their job was because their parents thought it would be a good career. And I was fortunate. I was never pushed in that route. I always knew I wanted to work in a shop. And my parents just said, right, whatever. But it is not that for everybody. Plenty of accountants and architects out there that aren't like that. My role is overwhelming, and I'm over that. You've made your mind up. You're not going to have that situation anymore. No idea what the next thing I could do is. Okay, we're going to go and get an ideas bank. We're going to get started on thinking about that and think about our skills. I'm ready for defining my next career move. That's why you're here. Sunday is my scariest day. It's one of the most used things I know. People really dislike Sundays because tomorrow is Monday. If that's you, it's time to make a move. Question yourself, am I qualified to do anything different? Yes, you are. Look at your skills. Start to really acknowledge your skills. Think about the circumstances you've been in. Get that all down on paper. Self-affirmation is a brilliant, brilliant way of moving forward. You're feeling ambitious, but you're frightened by change. Listen to the talks this afternoon. They will give you the tools and the advice to help you with that. I've got no idea to even think about a career pivot. I can help with that. My CV isn't getting me interview invites. Come and join my webinar in a couple of weeks. And I just don't know even how to begin with the role of a career pivot. There's lots of books, things like Switchers, which are really, really useful for that. So you can start with all sorts of things. If any of those are you, I've just given you, things that can help you. But this afternoon should be a really good helping point for you. So I am actually going to be launching a new course, and Benet is going to put the link in the waitlist. It's not ready yet, probably be out in the next week or so. I've never done this before. Of course, I've run lots of courses, but this course is going to be different.
I can show a slide if you want. I've got a QR code on the slide.
Okay, I'll just talk it through and then pop that on. Thanks, Benet. So I've decided that, a lot of people, it's not right for them to come and do in person one-to-one career coaching, or you're not ready to do that, or, maybe it's just not something that you can invest in for yourself right now. So I've decided that I'm using my multiple years of experience, far too many to mention, and I actually am writing a online course, which I'm going to be selling at a really, really affordable price. And if you're on this call, you'll get it at a beta price, which is going to be just £69. So Benny is going to put the link up later. It's going to be 129, but the first people to join it who've been on this on the career elevator are going to get it for 69. And for that, all I'm asking is you give me some feedback. We're going to have a Facebook group where there's going to be regular Q&As. I might get some guest speakers in, but it's just something to help you think about some of the things that we've talked about on this slide today, and how you can potentially get your career on the move. So I think that's my journal on Amazon. Your CV, would you put a stamp on it? That again is something to help through your career planning. So Benny, do you want to just pop the slide up for the QR codes? And if anybody wants to join, I'll leave that on the screen. And then can you do that?
Not if you.
Do I need to close it?
Yeah.
Okay. Stop screen share.
Sorry.
Stop share. There we go. Can you do it?
Yeah, bear with me.
Okay. So after this session, we've got another short break because I think everybody is going to need some lunch. There you go. There's the QR code. So time for a break for lunch, and I'm really thrilled that at 2:15 we've got the lovely Kalini Kent coming in to join us. Kalini, she'll tell you her background, but she's basically has got an acting background, and now she works a lot with children, but also she's got a very, very strong communication business. So she's going to come and talk to you about how to communicate at interview presentations, and how you can strengthen your confidence in communication. So Kalini's joining us at 2:15. We'll leave the slide on the screen during the breaks, but please do go and have some lunch, and I'll see you at 2:15. Thank you very much.